Well, it's martini time again. It's just time just goes around. So it's just, life is just one martini with a little business wrapped around it. The martini is the center of the universe. And I'm speaking metaphorically. But we've been talking about last night and this morning about the demise of Bill O'Reilly. And I've been writing about, pondering about Fox News ever since I've been on Facebook, which has been, God knows, 10 years. I don't know how long I've been on here. But it has been the first time I encountered Fox News. I wanted to talk about Fox News because for Bill O'Reilly to exist, there had to be a Fox News. Just as for a hurricane to exist, there has to be a warm Atlantic Ocean. You see, you can't have you can't have a hurricane in the Arctic. So you have to have warm water. And Fox News was warm water, and it supported and created this Bill O'Reilly phenomenon, which is now ended. So it's really a good time to really put on a wide angle and take a wider look. And since I've been around for a long time, I have that wide angle. And I remember my first encounter with Fox News back in the 80s. Well, let me see, 2000, back in the 90s. I'm not sure how long Fox News has been around, but back in the 90s, my brother-in-law and sister-in-law were living in town, and they were evangelicals. And they really did it. I mean, they were not just Sunday goers. I mean, it was a full-time. They dove into this pool, which is what you should do. You should dive all the way into your religion and get wet from head to toe and not just stick your toe in on Sunday. I mean, they swam in it all week. And they watched, they were very active, and they collected resource and records and radio talks and books. They were like a resource center for evangelical good news. And they watched sermons on Sunday and Fox News all week, and that's all they watched. That's all they did. Fox News, Bill 700 Club, and the sermons, the TV church, and that was it. And so I first got acquainted with the marriage of evangelism and Fox News. And so all of their information came in from these two wings. It was one bird with two wings. You had a religious wing, and you had a secular wing. And they both flapped, you see. So they were both supporting each other. And then you had the Republican Party, which was the political, basically, these two wings, the churches and the Fox News, were basically the voice of the Republican Party. So they were all interrelated. And so the Republican Party became God's party, a GOD, GOP, GOD. You just switched the P and the D. Very easy. So I reflect on this, and I wonder about this, and I've always tried to understand Fox, because a lot of my friends watch it, and you go, not much anymore, but you used to go into the in the business, and if they had TV in the waiting room, it would be Fox News. And I remember going to a waiting room at the St. Francis Hospital and sitting there, and there was Pat Robertson at the 700 Club, you know, and you could just feel, if you can get detached from identification or rejection of it, you can begin to feel the emotional delivery system, particularly of Fox. Jon Stewart spent his whole career trying to reveal the way Fox News worked, you know. So that was, you know, and he left. Fox News stayed. So this whole, it was a delivery system of news with an attitude. But it was more than that. And I'm speaking about Fox in the past tense because it's still here. However, there seems to be the tent seems to be shaking. Roger Ailes left, and now the big tent, Bill O'Reilly left, and who can replace him? Tucker Carlson? Well, you know, there was more to Bill O'Reilly than just delivering news. There was more to Bill O'Reilly than just an attitude. There was more to Bill O'Reilly than just being a spokesperson for Fox, you see. Bill O'Reilly was like the Pope. And Fox News was a secular religious church that covered both people who went to church and who didn't go to church. Didn't make any difference. The emotional message was the same. So what is that emotional message, you see? And one thing about Fox was that if you look at it in terms of a religious formula, the religious formula, and this is the way a lot of churches, I'm not saying all churches, but I'm saying a lot of the churches work this formula, and that is, it encourages doubt. Do you doubt? Are you saved? Are you secure? Are you going to heaven? Is your life working for you? You know? And of course, most people it isn't. So when you directly confront somebody with that, well, they say, well, it creates a doubt. Oh, no, I'm a little bit, you know, something's missing, something's missing. I need something else. I don't know what it is. The world's such a mess. The world's so fragmented, you see. The world is such a mess. American carnage is just a mess, you see. And the preacher says, well, wouldn't you like to feel secure? Wouldn't you like to know that your soul is not going to hell? Wouldn't you like to feel certain and have your life integrated and feel like you belong? Oh, well, yes, I would like that. Well, then come to Fox News. You see? So Fox News, just like the church, delivers information with a little bit of anxiety that there's a big bang coming. There's the end of the world is coming. Everything is delivered with this dread, with this little sauce of dread on it, you see. And who's causing this dread? Who's causing this dread that you created me? Well, it's the liberals, or it's globalism, or if you're evangelical, it's a humanism. It's science, it's secularism, it's global humanistic liberalism that's creating this feeling of uncertainty and dread that some big bad thing is just around the corner. So come into the fold, you see. And so come into the fold, and Bill O'Reilly will set you straight. So you just let Bill be your voice. You just let Bill speak for you, and you'll feel as certain and in your conviction and security as Bill O'Reilly, because he is certain and he is clear and distinct, and he knows who the enemy is, and he tells the truth. And if you just let Bill speak for you, you will be at home here. And so when you go out in the world, and the liberals and the globalisms and the Clintons and the Hillarys and the Obamas, and they all create this feeling of chaos and uncertainty about the future, you come home at night and tune in, and Bill will make you feel better. Bill will make you feel certain, and so you can rest at night knowing that you are getting the truth, the absolute truth, and all this relativism, all of this relative moral crap is that's here you get the absolute fair and balanced truth. And so you can sleep at night, you see. And then you go out in the day and you get all fragmented again, and you come home at night and Bill restores your center. You see, so the idea here is remember the old vacuum cleaner salesman who would come in and say, let me give you a demonstration. You don't know how much dirt you've got here. And so he would take his, let me have your vacuum cleaner. And he would run the vacuum cleaner, and then you would say, well, it looks pretty clean. You know, well, you think it's clean, but let me show you this rainbow vacuum cleaner. And so now you vacuum the water. The rainbow vacuum cleaner goes through water. And so I know I bought one. So the rainbow vacuum cleaner will go through water, circulates through water. Then you look at the water. Oh my God, look at all the dirt. I didn't know I had so much sin here. So if I get that rainbow vacuum cleaner, I'll have no more sin, no more confusion, no more dirt. Give me that thing. And I did the same thing with Lifetime cookware. Back in the 70s, I sold Lifetime cookware. And one of the performance was that you went to people's houses and gave them a dinner, and then you gave them a sales talk. And one of the performance was that you took their, let me have your old griddle, your cast iron griddle. And if they didn't have one, I brought one. And you would put some water in it, and you would take a little copper foil thing, scrubber, and you would scrub it around in there, and then you would pour the water in the glass, and you would look at it and say, ooh, it would be brown. Oh my God, look at all that grease. And then you would take the stainless steel frying pan, you pour some water in, scrape around, pour that in the crystal clear. Fox News, liberals, grease. So anyway, you would sell. So anyway, Bill O'Reilly got rid of the grease. Fox News got rid of the grease, you see, and cleared the water and made things clear and distinct again, you see. All this globalism and change and evolution and all of this relativism and it's just that's sin. Or that's the devil's work, you see. So these two kind of like, merged together. And that's why Obama became the devil. Obama became the Antichrist, you see. Because people just mixed them right together, you see. Liberalism, Satan, Obama, racism, hatred of gays, all of these values, you see, all get put in together and delivered in one clear and distinct voice and sermon. So you got a sermon from Bill at night, and you got one from the televangelist on Sunday, or during the week if you watch 700 Club. So it all fits together. Now the question is this coming to an end? I mean, how many decades can a circus run? How many decades can a circus tent hold? Barnum and Bailey is dying. They're folding up their tent. So everything is impermanent, and the waves of change destroy everything, even Fox News and Bill O'Reilly and Roger Ailes. You see, both of those were the two pillars that held that tent up. Roger Ailes, Bill O'Reilly. Now they're down. So what else is going on, you see? Well, if you look at the rising, what brought Bill O'Reilly down and Roger Ailes? What brought them down? Women. Women brought them down. Not one woman, but women, plural. So women as a group have more power than one giant male. You see? When one woman confronts the giant, she gets defeated. But when a group of women band together, they're indefeatable. So that's what happened here. Basically, the women banded together and brought down Roger Ailes and Bill O'Reilly. So what does that really say in the wider angle? You see, this Bill O'Reilly and Roger Ailes and Fox News represent a patriarchal mythology. A patriarchal mythology is a triangle with the male on top, God, the male, and then women, and then children. Or in society, you have God, and then you have the capitalists, the wealthy, the wise rulers, the philosopher kings, the businessman, the CEO, the wise rulers, and then the wealth comes down from the top and it trickles down the mountain down to the people at the bottom. So this is a triangle like that, you see. And this came in with Reagan because the 60s broke that mythology up and created a circle of the people. In the 60s, it was the hippies, the people. The people are going to change things. The people, every person in this mythology is the whole tribe. In the circle, every individual is the whole, and the whole is made up of the individuals, and each individual is the whole. This is a tribal organization. In a way, the tribe is the people, and it's like the Quakers. There is no one person better than another. There is no pyramid with the king on top and the dominions going on down like that, you see. So this is really a war of geometry, the pyramid versus the circle. And these two geographical images give and take, you see. When the circle loses its center and its power, the pyramid comes in. But when the pyramid loses its power, the circle comes in. And that's the way history flows, particularly in the United States, because these two pyramids are in our Constitution. When you have a president, you have a pyramid, and when you have the people, you have a circle. So you have a dynamic between the people and the president, the executive and the Congress. You see, these are two different mythologies. The presidency and the executive order is the strong one man who personifies the whole nation. He's the one without a second, the presidency. And then you have the people. And every person is the whole. Every one vote is equal to all other votes. It gets corrupted, but that's the idea, you see. And so there's a shift going on. We can see it when millions of hundreds of thousands of women march in the streets to protest the patriarch system, this system here. And Sanders is running on a circle instead of a pyramid. Sanders is running on the progressive Democrats are running on that all the wealth is accumulated up at the top, like all the blood in the whole body has gone to the head, and the rest of the body is shrinking, you see, and the head is just full of blood, full of wealth, and nothing's going down. There's like choke collar around here, nothing gets past the head, so there's so the body, the whole body is coming back, and that's the female, that's the woman, that's the body that is coming back, that has been kind of like run by the head, that's gone arrogant. See, when the head loses its body, it becomes arrogant. When the ego loses connection with its body, it becomes arrogant. It says, there's no one greater than I. And that was Bill O'Reilly's persona. There's no one greater than I, you see. So nobody could upseat it, that whole idea. So if there's no one greater than I, then that is affirmed by having other people bow down to you, particularly women. So if you can get women to submit to you, or if you can intimidate them so that they can't assert their energy, they can't assert their power if they're intimidated and they're put down, you see, that asserts your power. So that was kind of like this arrogance that comes in from this pyramid period. Arrogant. This is always the weakness of this. The weakness of the circle is that no one can act. It fibrillates, it flip-flops. That's the weakness of democracies in the sense that they can't make a decision. And so you have these two that work together when it's working, and when one gets out of balance, the other one is going to rise up like a seesaw and flip the other one off. And I really think that's what's happening now. In the aftermath of the great pyramid versus the circle between Trump and Hillary, the people are rising up, you see. And the great pyramids and the great tent poles and the popes and the charisma and the power of the Fox GOP alliance with religion is being replaced by the internet. and by the millennials, who don't really give a crap about that. They're in a new paradigm. They're in a new reality. They were born with a computer in the womb. They're coming out connected with each other as the people. Social media is the circle. There's no king of the social media. It's a circle, you see. So this is a mythological change going on, a paradigm shift. And of course the old pyramids hang on for dear life because they know their days are numbered, just as Bill Riley realized. And so I'll see you in the morning and at Zen Live.